Hi everyone, it's Bethany with Expat Insurance Services, and I'm here today to help you understand better the topic of the healthcare system and how health insurance works and your options in Mexico while you're living abroad or visiting for a short period of time. It's a very important topic to understand, so I have a lot of questions I'll be going over in several different videos. But today I wanted to talk a little bit deeper about pre-existing conditions. I touched on it briefly in some of my previous videos, but for today, we're really going to dig in to see how it works when you have a pre-existing condition. Because oftentimes people will move down here thinking that the system works the same as it does in their home country, where maybe they don't need to pay for their insurance, or how the care works, or that it's super cheap because we're in Mexico, and that it's going to be no problem if they have a health condition to be covered. But unfortunately, the way it works here is that typically your pre-existing condition is not going to be covered if you have it before getting into a private health insurance plan. Now, you do have the option between public hospitals and private hospitals. And depending on your situation and your residency status, you potentially might get onto the public system called IMSS, which may cover some of your pre-existing conditions and only give you access to the public hospitals. Now, you do need to have residency, and that's not necessarily up to the standard as some people would like if they're getting medical care, but it depends on what you have going on. Now, the private hospitals is where most people would prefer to be treated medically if they have something large going on. If you have a pre-existing condition, typically it's not covered, but it depends on what is happening. So you do need to go through an application process, and this is whether you're using an international expat insurance plan or if you are using a Mexican plan. And I'll briefly touch on some of the differences. You need to disclose what's going on with your pre-existing condition, and the insurance company is going to handle it in one of a few ways. They're going to exclude it forever and offer you insurance for anything else that might happen, but not for that condition. So it'll be a lifetime exclusion. That's one option. They could deny you completely for your application, depending on what you have going on. You don't know until you actually go through and apply. Or they could decide to cover it as normal, no questions asked. I've only really seen that happen if it's something small, not something major going on. They could exclude it for a period of time with a reevaluation after 1 or 2 years to say, okay, we're not going to cover this condition right now, but after you have the policy for a while, let's reevaluate and see how you're doing. The other option is to cover it with a higher deductible. And I'll explain the deductible in some other videos, but your plan might have a certain amount of a deductible for the year or per condition. And the insurance company could say, okay, we will cover you, but with a higher deductible, so you are responsible for more of the cost. So that's kind of a quick summary on how pre-existing conditions work. Now, if you have a Mexican policy, they typically don't cover pre-existing conditions as much as I've seen with the expat policies, but you really need to ask questions with the policy that you're looking at, the quotes that you're getting, and you won't have a final answer until you submit an application. So I hope that helps answer how it works with pre-existing conditions. Another question people give me a lot of times is medications. They might say, oh, I don't have anything going on, I'm super healthy, but I take these medications. Well, if you're taking a medication, the insurance company says you're taking it for a reason, you have something going on, so you need to disclose that. Now, if you choose to say, well, my condition's not very important to me, it's not a big deal, like it's managed, I don't care if insurance covers it, so I'm not going to include it on my application. You could do that, but here is the risk that you take if you do that. And you need to speak with a broker or someone like myself or my team to help you decipher how to handle this. But if you decide not to put something on your application, and it comes up later on in a claim, then the insurance company could handle it a few ways. They could say, oh, you lied on your application, you did not put this information, so we're going to cancel your application and give you your premiums back, and you are no longer covered, which is dangerous if you're in the middle of a claim or a medical need. The other way they could handle it is say, oh, you did not disclose this, we are not going to cover it, but you may continue your coverage. So it's a little bit risky, but either way, it's not going to be covered. So if you're not going to disclose something, you need to be very careful. So I would advise that you talk with somebody and consult if you're not sure how to handle that when you are applying for your health insurance. So I hope that helps you understand the basic concept of pre-existing conditions and how they work. But if you have any specific questions that you want to discuss a bit further with me, feel free to contact me anytime. I'm leaving my contact information in this video and in this post. I'm happy to go over more questions or this particular situation that you might be in. Myself and my team will help you understand the process better so that you can prepare better for your move or understand if you are dealing with something, how to handle it. I'm Bethany with Expat Insurance Services. Thank you for listening today. Please like, subscribe, and share my video if you find it useful.